Now I want to go to an extraordinary policy shift from the Allan Labor government here in Victoria. They're in damage control. They're a year and a bit out from an election. And they seek to address the state's spiralling crime crisis, which we've talked about over and over and over again on this program. Now, 12 months to the election, they suddenly see the light. Today, they introduced what they call new laws to Parliament, which will see tough new penalties for retail crime, including up to 5 years jail for assaulting retail workers and 25 years for ram raids. Well,
We're putting these workers first and making it clear that any Victorian who thinks that they can threaten or abuse these workers, well, not only will you be breaking the law, there will be serious consequences and penalties should you do so.
Former Victorian Homicide Squad Detective Charlie Brazina. Now, I'm sure he's shaking his head as much as I am. Welcome. Let's just deal with the teenage offenders. This earlier announcement earlier in the week about anyone over the age of 14 is going to go straight to the county court, and a media release is put out suggesting violent home invasion could bring a life sentence. Who believes that that is ever going to happen?
It won't happen, Steve. Look, it's a nonsense at the very outset. Not only that, it's going to bog down because most of our offenders are doing the aggravated home invasions, aggravated carjackings. The list at the county court is long enough now. You might get up to about 2 years. So now to load them up. Now, adding the life imprisonment, well, OK, the Children's Court, Magistrates Courts are limited to 3 years maximum. There is not one child that I believe has ever got the maximum 3 years at the Children's Court. So what's going to happen at the county court? Nowhere near it. And maximum sentences, no one gets it except for murder.
So who comes up with this stuff? Because these people are supposed to be intelligent legislators, right? I mean, you don't get life for rape. You don't get life for manslaughter.
Correct.
You're seriously telling me that a county court judge, Charlie, and you've been in the county court plenty of times,
absolutely,
is going to sentence a 15-year-old to life, which means 25 years in prison? They won't do that.
It won't happen. And I don't reckon there's been any consultation by our Attorney General who runs the courts. Has she spoken to the Chief Justice at the county court? I don't believe she has. And the insulting bit about it is they treat us in the community as idiots. Well, we're not idiots. And we know she's thrown us a bone. And some victims of crime are saying, oh, how great is this? This is fantastic. Do you think for 1 minute these offenders are going to worry about that? Not at all. It's business as usual for them.
So, you know, she stands up. That legislation is not even drafted.
Yeah.
And it's talking about having it in between now and the end of the year. I think there's maybe 3 weeks left of Parliament between now and the end of the year. Might even not be 3 weeks. Well, that's not going to happen.
And that's what Brad Batten says. You've come out with this, but no policy of saying how it's going to work. Where are the logistics of it? You know, it's a partnership. I keep saying it's a partnership. Victoria Police, the government and the judiciary. They've got to get together, and it takes a lot more than just coming out with this announcement, throwaway words. And don't forget, she was the orchestrator, along with Daniel Andrews, for the Commonwealth Games. And that's the promises they gave us, and we know the result.
Well, she also sat around a cabinet table where they softened the bail laws.
Correct.
Because of an incident involving an Indigenous woman arrested off a train who then sadly passed away in custody. They said, OK, let's have a look at this issue of Indigenous arrest and let's change it. Let's make sure that these kids don't get put in police cells. Now suddenly you've gone all the other way.
Yeah, correct. And we're still trying to get Jack's Law down here. Give the police the powers to do it. Let's not be reactive. Let's be proactive. It's like with the masks. Oh, well, you can tell them to take their masks off once they commit a crime or about to commit a crime. Well, we want to stop that. We're not reactive. We've got to be proactive.
And so she comes out again with a second announcement this week. So you can see this is all political spin. So we have the worst incidents of retail crime where people are just ram-raiding into stores, walking into shops, filling bags up with alcohol or with clothes or whatever, and walking out, threatening people who work in these retail shops. The union says that they fear for their lives. They've been talking about this for 18 months.
Correct.
And now she says it's going to come in immediately.
Yeah, but it won't change a thing, Steve, and we know that. And I keep saying it's really up to the landlords, the business owners, to put in these security guards, because the police, they're not going to get there. By the time they get there, they're long gone. So they're going to start the investigation. We don't have the resources.
And, you know, the county court judges, as you said, have a long, long, long list. Has the Attorney General or Jacinta Allan sat down with the Chief Judge of the County Court and talked about this?
I don't believe so. They've thrown it out, and I can just see up at William Street here, the Justice area, they'll be just saying, WTF, what's this all about? You know, no one's spoken to us. You know what? They'll do their own thing anyway. And they're bound by precedent. They're bound by other cases. They're not going to come out and say that. Sure, the legislation's there. It's up to, you know, these are the maximum sentences. No one gets the maximum sentences at all. And that's the whole problem.
The Premier also threw into that conversation that these teenage offenders would now face a jury.
Oh, yeah, that's going to go.
Really?
Yeah. Well, again, it's going to bog the system down just completely. Either why not increase, and they weren't getting that heavier penalty at the Children's Court. And I know Jack Vandersteen, the president of the Children's Court, he's as frustrated as anybody else. And then you look at what was happening at the Parkville Detention Centre when these used the alleged killers of these two African boys out at Melton. They said, we're not going in. So you've got the lunatics running the asylum.
You've got a left-leaning council that looks after the area where the Richmond safe and heroin injecting facility is supposed to be. Some idiot decided that a good place to put it would be next to a school, which it just beggars belief.
Correct.
So this left-leaning council says, we want this thing out of here. Yeah. It's destroyed our community. Jacinta Allan says no.
Yeah, and she prefaces that by saying it's saved a lot of lives. Why are they attacking the drug issue at that level? They can attack the drug level, what we just been speaking about. Commercial drug trafficking carries life imprisonment. Mandate life imprisonment. Let's cut the head of the snake off, stop the influx of the drugs, and you're going to start saving lives at the bottom. But what are they doing? They're attacking the problem at basement level. Well, that's where it shouldn't be. But again, putting a facility in there, and the council put up for a while. We know they're left wing, but let's put it in Bendigo. Let's go there. Let's put one up there for the country.
I'm not sure the Premier's going to like that. I want to just go back to the issue of youth crime. I mean, Ash Gordon, promising young doctor, murdered outside his home in Melbourne. His sister Natalie has said, quote, even if she does deliver on the new laws, I still think she should stand down because she's done a terrible job up until now. Jacinta Allan should resign if crime doesn't fall, as David Crisafulli in Queensland said he would do. Charlie Bazina, with your experience, if the crime numbers don't come down, should she quit?
Absolutely. She'd be shown the door, but we know, and she knows this is her last hurrah. We never voted her in. She got it by default. Correct. And we're stuck with her. And she's got the same scars and delivering the same scars as Daniel Andrews. We're stuck with her, but she knows she's not going to go because she's arrogant. And she won't be told. And it's either Jacinta's way or the highway. And that's what we're stuck with.
Great to see you again, Charlie. Thank you very much for coming in. Charlie Bazina there, as usual, talking common sense.